As I mentioned in last week's video, the number one cause for our bad thoughts, apart from our innate bias, it's our ego. There is a second important reason why we get stuck in our head and start thinking and focusing on negative thoughts, and that is we do not fulfill our need to share our internal world with others. We as human beings have a necessity to express ourselves with our surroundings, with the people who know us well, like our family, our partner, our friends and colleagues, and also with people who we do not have a continuous relationship with. Could be a stranger on the bus, someone who works in the same building as us. The need to be heard will never go away. And while sharing our inner world with others, some might consider it to be egotistical, it is not. The more we are able to share with others, if we do it authentically and well, the less self-centered we become. Which means, ideally, we are also allowing others to share themselves with us. There are many explanations for that. For one, we become open to and accepting of perspectives that are different from our own. We become more loving towards others and at the same time towards ourselves. We forgive everybody for not being perfect. And it makes total sense. If we cannot speak our mind, then we are stuck inside our head. We start overthinking, we start considering that what we think is wrong, and maybe even convince ourselves of that. Sharing our internal world with others means sharing our opinions and feelings in the right way. So how can we do that? We all need to feel heard. This could be more important for some people than for others, and to a different degree for different people. For example, I do need to feel heard. I have always felt the need to be heard, but I have never felt the need of having large groups of people listen to me in order to feel heard. A few trusted people in my life is all I need to be and feel heard. Apart from that, I also do like exchanging conversations with people that I don't know that closely in order to have that need to be heard fulfilled. But this is me. What you need to be heard might be completely different. So the first thing you need to do is to realize, what exactly do you need to feel heard? Is it a small group of friends? Is it being popular? Is it meeting new people all the time? Being aware of the exact preconditions that you need in order to feel heard allows you to then take the necessary steps to fulfill them. If you only need a few close friends, then do the activities required to build a small, close group of friends. If you need to be popular, then attend any event that you can find. If you need to meet new people all the time, then go to new events or do different activities every once in a while. Be an active participant in every gathering. In every event or social gathering that you go to, try to be an active member of the group. Don't wait for your turn to speak if you have something to say. Conversations are dominated by people who speak. As simple as that. While that does not mean that you should feel any pressure in speaking all the time, you can still relax back in your chair when you don't feel like talking, but you should make your voice heard. The easiest way that you can do that is whenever you have an opinion on something that is being discussed, then just speak up. You can preface it with, I have an opinion about that. What you should not do is sit back and let your opportunity to speak go. You do want to state your opinion clearly, but at the same time, do not overthink the details. That stops you from speaking up while you're thinking about the exact way to say what you want to say. Chances are that the group has already moved on to another topic. Have you ever heard someone share their opinion, but in a way that wasn't ideal, but still thought, wow, it is brave of them to speak up even though it wasn't clear? Don't be afraid to not be perfect. If you don't have an idea or topic in mind, then just ask a question. The best and most basic thing to do is to ask the obvious question. It is so simple to find questions to ask. They could be anything related to the topic at hand. They could be about recent events or plans for the near future. Really anything. What I suggest that you do, especially if it's not that easy for you to come up with questions or topics to talk about on the spot, then think of a few topics beforehand. Before you go to the gathering, think about specific things that you could talk about. They could be things that interest you, your job, your hobbies, or they could be recent events that you have done, recent places that you have visited. I would like to add a word of caution, because I have seen people who do this but don't do it right. You don't want to talk about just your interests. You should allow for other people to contribute to your conversation, and you should be curious about their contribution. Say you're talking about something that happened when you were in China, and someone interrupts you and says, "Oh yeah, I've been there too," and keeps talking about their experience. Allow them to share their experience, and if once they are done, they don't come back to your conversation, then don't shy away from demanding your space to continue with your story. You can say, "China was amazing, wasn't it?" or any other comment related to their experience. And then I didn't get to tell you my story. And you go back to telling your story. You should add a comment there, otherwise it might look like the only thing that you care about is telling your story, when it's more about exchanging stories, exchanging experiences. And here is why you should go back to telling your story. It puts you in the category of people who are not afraid to claim their right to speak, to stand their ground and be confident. It's always attractive. Take on the leader role when you see fit. For example, if you are in a group and you are all deciding where to go next, take the initiative of synthesizing the choice of everyone and say, so X, Y, Z and I vote for the bar, A and B for the restaurant. The bar wins. If many people are speaking at the same time, allow for the conversations to be over before you start speaking. Demand others' attention to what you have to say. You can do this by speaking in a slightly higher volume than the rest of the conversations when you feel that those conversations are coming to an end, or you can wait for the conversations to fully end before you start speaking. But at that point, you should still start speaking, let's say, not at a low volume. If up to that moment there were many conversations taking place, then it was noisy. If you start speaking with a very calm and low voice, then you won't be able to attract anybody to pay attention to what you have to say, no matter how interesting it might be. Call out the elephant in the room. A lot of people steer clear of the truth because they don't want to be the one who said it. This happens especially in the workplace. It could be a difficult decision that nobody really wants to make, but there is no other way. So everyone shies away, even though they know that that will be the end result. When you come out and say it, you might be seen as the bold one, just because you said what everyone else knew, but couldn't admit. You do not need to agree on everything with everybody, and it is not your job to convince anyone. This is a topic for a separate video altogether, so I will make this one short. There are people that want to prove that they are right all the time about everything. So they are willing to go into conversations with their sword in their hand, ready to defend their opinions all the way till the end. I think all of us have found ourselves, at least once, in a conversation with someone who tries to impose their opinion on us. When I find myself in a similar situation, at first I try to keep an open mind. And in fact, I find very attractive the passion that my interlocutor has for the topic. But then it depends a lot on how far they push it, right? If they really are passionate about the topic, that's great. If they have a fixed opinion on it, that could be okay too. But if they have a fixed opinion and they try to sell it to me, especially if they also use language like "you are wrong, I am right," then I usually sit back and let them talk until they stop. I don't try to defend my opinion, nor do I try to convince them. Someone who approaches in this way discussions where people have different opinions from theirs are generally not going to change their minds, even if I try very hard to. If you tend to be that person, don't be that person. Share your opinion, even if it's not popular. You can even defend it using the right language, such as "what I think is," or "here's what I think, maybe you don't agree and that's okay." And do not try to impose your opinion on anyone. If you disagree, never make it about the person and always only about the opinion. Never say "you're wrong." Remember that opinions are views. They are based on our experiences and emotions and not on facts. Even if the fact that the other person is saying is wrong and you know that it is wrong, you still should not use the words "you're wrong." Once your interlocutor hears these 3 words, they immediately shut off. If you have listened to your interlocutor's opinion and you have a different one, you could say, "what I think based on what I have experienced so far is this." When someone hears this, they will be more open to what you have to say, even if it's different from what they think. If your opinions are already said and you are in disagreement, then you could say, "Okay, I respect your opinion. Let me tell you why I believe in mine." Or, "I see that we have 2 opposite views on this. Could you tell me more? Why do you believe that?" Both approaches open the way to a more constructive discussion. Saying "you're wrong" does the opposite of that. You might both feel frustrated, maybe even insulted, and the discussion becomes bitter. Also, if you really want to make your interlocutor change their opinion to yours, then know that saying "you're wrong and I'm right," or trying very hard to convince them, will not make them change their minds. What could do that is you showing that you respect their opinion, their current opinion, explaining the reasons why you believe in your opinion, and allowing for both parties to have a non-heated, inspiring conversation. Be genuinely curious about other people's opinions and listen. I have always loved conversations and discussions. When I come across someone who has their original thoughts about something, it's genuinely interesting for me to listen to them. It could be that I had never thought about a given topic in their way, or it's an opinion of theirs that is entirely dependent on their life experiences. But that is what is interesting and fascinating. We cannot live multiple lives, so we cannot possibly have that many experiences. There will always be things, feelings, experiences, people that we are going to miss out on. By listening to someone else's experiences, we are, theoretically speaking, living multiple lives. Think of those you could be inspiring to speak up. I have been on both sides of this. I have in the past shied away from speaking up, and so many times I have had an admiration for those people who spoke, no matter the situation that they were in, or who they were surrounded by, or any other condition. That is when I decided to start speaking my mind. If you find yourself in a situation where you want to speak up, but you don't, and you wish someone would, decide to be exactly that person. And last, it's not just about being heard, it's about being understood. It is important for us to speak our minds and not shy away from speaking whenever we see fit. But we don't just need to be heard, we need to feel understood. When we say something, we want our interlocutor to really understand what we're saying, our thought, where we're coming from, our feelings, our personality. It's not just about speaking for the sake of speaking and hearing. The first thing to do in order to feel heard and understood is allowing others to feel heard and offering them our understanding. It is true what the phrase says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. No one will listen to what you have to say if you are not willing to listen to what they have to say. At the same time, if they feel like you are not trying at all to understand their point of view and where they are coming from, they will not try that hard to understand your point of view and where you are coming from. If you incorporate these 11 tips into your life and your conversations, I promise you will see amazing results. I am certain of it. I will see you guys in the next video.